going, guys? Real quickly before I get to the point of what I pulled the camera out for right now, my eye makeup look, this eye makeup look right now was my attempt to go nice and easy because it's like 100 degrees and like super humid outside. So I decided to kind of dumb down my eye makeup look today, and I used a variety of Bobbi Brown, Makeup Geek, Anastasia shadows today, and yet it still involved, the production of this eye look still involved like 6 different shadows. And this is kind of like my toned down look. I don't have a dark outer corner, and I went a little easier with liner and stuff. And I'm like, I swear, I sit down every morning and I'm like, I'm just gonna be chill today. You know, it's a hot summer day, and I get completely lost and involved in designing my eye makeup look in particular. I don't know why I'm so intrigued with doing eye makeup, and I continue to get carried away. So anyway, this is supposed to be a subtle, not too involved eye makeup look, and the shadow got out of control. What I wanted to share with you right now is that I am obsessing over this guy right here. I don't know if it's gonna pick it up. This is by no, it doesn't pick it up at all. This is by Milani. This is the Keep It Smooth Luxe Lip Treatment. Holy cow, how have I not been with this my entire life? I'm actually just wearing it right now. I'm like addicted to it. I like want to put this like in my bra or something when I don't have pockets on, because I want to have like easy access to it. It smells sweet, but not too sweet. Like, I don't like annoying sweet, but it just has a really just kind of sweet, like comforting kind of scent to it. It is ridiculously like luxurious, and it feels really smooth on my lips. By comparison, for example, like Vaseline, like in a tub, is historically like too thick. It's a little bit like creamy. This is so much thinner than that. But if you think about like Vaseline that's in like in a tube that like you can use for your lip treatment, that thing is like so slippery that I can't stand that. This is like the happy medium combination in between. They also have a lip scrub that I am dying to try right now. I've got the one by Fresh, and I've got the one by Elf that comes in like a lipstick bullet, which I enjoy both of those. But there's something about this Milani one that is fabulous. I got it at CVS. It was buy one, get one half off. It's a little bit pricey. It's like $10, $11 or so, but I got the 2 for $15, and then that makes them about $7.50 a piece, and so definitely cheaper in comparison to the one by Fresh. Anyway, so I'm just completely addicted to it. I did want to add one other well, 2 other things. Thank you so much, first of all, for really enjoying my my June favorites that I posted recently, where I filmed it from my car. You guys were actually hilarious. One of you said that you would have been okay. Basically, you said you were okay wherever I filmed, which I completely appreciate. But also one of you was like, you know, you could film in an outhouse and I'd be okay with that. And then you were like, well, not really. And I'm thinking, well, it's a good thing that I don't have one of those, because there's a solid chance that I'm not going to be filming from an outhouse. Can you imagine? That might get some hits on YouTube. That could be like my breakout video that will, you know, rocket me to stardom, filming a favorites video in an outhouse. Oh my gosh. So anyway, and one thing I want to add to that whole conversation too was just, some of you pointed it out to me, even though I was making a point to say that this was my normal life and it was why it was working for me. What you guys pointed out too was that this was your normal life. Like, you were busy and running around, and, you know, we're even catching YouTube videos kind of on the fly, and, you know, and in a rush. And I typically watch when I'm doing my makeup, because I don't really have time to sit there and just watch a video. But it kind of never occurred to me that it's almost like we would be watching something that was unobtainable. Like I was kind of demonstrating, like, you know, like with the camera and the lights and kind of all that, and everything just looks so great. And there's something to be said for that. But at the same time, you guys pointed out repeatedly that you were like, you know, hey, this is actually our life. You know, we are busy, and we like real stuff. And I kind of hadn't thought of it that way, and that just makes me even more excited to be able to film videos like that in the future and as we go along. So about that favorites video, there was something I wanted to add. One of the products that I talked about was the soap sleeve, and I did mention in that video that it was sent to me. I really was 100% impressed with it. One thing I wanted to add, So it's called the soap sleeve, right? Because it's meant to be little pockets and little sleeves to put soap bars in. I typically don't even use it that way anymore. I did that initially, but now what I do is I just put my body wash on it, and it lathers up and soaps up just as easily as it would if there were bars of soap in there. But I love using the body wash in combination with that, simply because it's easier to manage. And then also, like I said, it allows me to get to areas that I cannot reach if I'm just using like spa gloves, or, you know, like whatever kind of other tool to use to kind of dispense body wash all over yourself. And remember, I don't like loofahs. That was one of my very original videos where I talked about how I don't like the idea of loofahs because they harbor bacteria and grossness. So anyway, I just wanted to highlight too that even though you'd be buying something that was called the soap sleeve, you don't actually have to put soap in it. You can just use body wash. Okay, I'm like half ready for work right now. I have a late start today, but I need to go do something with this wet hair, and I have a load of dishes in the sink because my husband's been sick and he is the primo dishwasher, and I now have to do it, which sounds very princess-like that I say, like, for example, that like I don't like to do dishes, but you know what? There are things that I do and there are things that he does, and he actually thoroughly enjoys doing dishes for the immediate gratification that it gives him. And so now I have forbidden him to do the dishes because I need him to recover, and so now I need to go do the dishes. So anyway, quick chat. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Let me just add really quickly, I kind of had to stop talking too because my arm is tired of holding this camera up. I definitely need like one of those sticks to kind of keep it in the air. Oh my gosh. Hey guys, how's it going? I realized I need to do an intro at these videos because if someone, if you're new to my channel, welcome first of all, but if you're new to my channel, you might kind of be like, what the heck is going on here right now? So my name is Gina, and I use these vlogs as an opportunity to kind of chat with you guys and interact with you guys about thought-provoking ideas, entertaining stuff, debatable things I want your opinion on, and things that I think are important to talk about. And we've been having a really good time so far, and the feedback's been fabulous, which is why I'm continuing to do it. So like I said, if you're new to my channel, welcome, and if you're a G Crew member already, then definitely welcome back. So I need to start this morning by apologizing because I'm only like half done. My makeup is like half done right now because I am completely running late this morning. My entire family right now is in infirmary, you know, where sick people go. A handful of them have the flu. My husband has the worst hacking, coughing situation going on. I was talking about over the last month how I'd been experiencing some mild vertigo and dizziness, which I was just kind of attributing to allergies, which are really bad. Not so much anymore though. But just the other day, yesterday actually, I literally almost fell down. I had to use the wall to steady myself, and so that was really freaky. So I went to urgent care last night, and they've put me on antibiotics now. Apparently I was jealous of everybody else in my family that they were all taking meds, so why shouldn't I? But they've put me on antibiotics for a potential sinus infection, and so we're gonna see how that works. I have no idea if I'm feeling better or not because it's only been like one day. So anyway, I have no lipstick on. My blush, apparently I'm checking out. I look pale as anything. So maybe don't look at the video as you listen to me talk today. But anyway, that's kind of a little update on my life and a little update as to why, you know, why I'm not looking kind of like normal. But you know, we've been chatting as we've been going about how this is real life, and there are times you don't always look perfect. Not that I ever look perfect, but I could definitely look better at this stage of the day today. So anyway, what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is something that I find to be so critical and so important, but something that we don't talk about frequently enough. And then I also believe that it's something that many of us experience. Clearly, I like to go to discussions that have to do with our mental health and our mental perspective, let's say, because I think where you are at, either mentally or emotionally, that being another really good word to describe that, I think it impacts your entire life, your job performance, the raising of your children, your relationships with your friends and family, your ability to accomplish things. And so what I wanted to talk about today is something that I've kind of felt passionate about over the years, and things that I've, in my studies and in my practice, not my own personal practice, but in my professional practice of my education, let's say. If I had a practice, that sounds so fancy, like I was a lawyer or a doctor or something. I'm not that fancy. But something that I feel passion for is the idea of how frequently we as people negatively talk to ourselves. That whole idea of negative self-talk. It is so common that we default to that. It is so easy for us. I mean, even just think about when you receive a compliment. Maybe not everybody does this, and if you don't, then you are mentally strong, and I commend you for that. But oftentimes, you know, you hear it. Someone gives you a compliment and you're like, oh, oh, hey, you look really nice today. I love that dress. Or, you know, your skin's looking really nice. Or I love the way you did your hair. Thank you so much, but oh yeah, you know, this was a lucky day for me today. You know, I normally can't get it to look this good. Or, you know, we always have to give this like stipulation, or this just kind of negative rebuttal. We can't just say, oh, hey, thanks. I'm feeling pretty great today too. Thanks so much. You know, whenever we're challenged by something, and when we're trying to do something, we frequently will have a negative kind of soundtrack running through our head. You know, oh, I'm not worth it, or oh, I can't do this. And if you are familiar with what I'm talking about, particularly during times when you are either exercising or working out, Olympians, you know, and professional athletes, although I'm sure they have at many times felt, you know, kind of that negative self-talk, or experience that negative self-talk, the reason they excel is because they don't allow it to impact them, and can overcome it and change it. And when you're working out and you're like halfway through a 30-minute or a 1-hour workout, you start saying things to yourself like, oh my God, I'm so tired. Oh my God, my body hurts. Oh my God, I can't do this anymore. Oh my God. And if you were to change that soundtrack in your head and say, okay, I might be tired, but I am still strong and I can keep going, you have an amazing ability to kind of impact your performance. And if you find, like, during those, like I said, during those times of challenge, that you default to kind of speaking negatively to yourself, it can definitely be baggage, and it can definitely wear you down. And it's just so very common. You know, it kind of comes from society. You know, you should never have too much pride, or you should never be boastful. And so and I'm not saying that you should necessarily be bragging about yourself, you know, every other minute, but at the same time, those themes that we have learned either in our family or in society have now translated to the fact that we are never good enough, and we are never able to give ourselves a compliment or even receive a compliment from someone. Like, it's almost like those themes of society and upbringing have now broadened the scope too much, that it's now, we are habitually stifled by that, and we can't even, like I said, we can't even begin to think positively about ourselves, because we've been trained so frequently and so much the other way that now it isn't even an option. And that's not fair. That's not fair, because like I was saying, the better that you feel about yourself, and the more enjoyment you take out of your accomplishments, or the more enjoyment you take even as to how you look for the day, thinking that you look beautiful for the day. Like I was saying in many other vlogs, you can wind up accomplishing so much more, because once you are nice to yourself and you're not speaking so negatively to yourself, your confidence like explodes, and you're able to then, you know, it becomes at that point a self-fulfilling prophecy, where feeling good about yourself allows you to accomplish good things. And then of course the opposite is true, where when you're feeling crappy about yourself, you're going to perform crappy. That was very scientific and official sounding, right? Feel crappy, perform crappy. So I think that this idea of speaking, having this idea of negative self-talk and habitually and even unconsciously trying to tear ourselves down because we just don't know what else to do with ourselves. I was referencing that you know, it can come from society, and then in that case it translated to our family life and our family upbringing. And so this was kind of, you know, environmentally the messages that we were receiving. But I think that negative self-talk also comes from ourselves. And yeah, I'm kind of saying that we're partially responsible for it. But what's so cool about calling ourselves out on it and saying, I am contributing to the negative self-perception that I have about myself, by saying and acknowledging that we're contributing to it, that means we can undo it. And that means we have control over it, and it doesn't have to be that way. So if we're choosing to, and I know it seems like you're like, but I don't choose to do that, it just happens. Well, I beg to differ, because honestly, you know, unless you have a mental diagnosis of some sort where your mental capacities are not 100% in your control, we like to default and say that I can't help it. That's the way that I normally think. No, that's actually, I challenge you by saying that that's actually the way that you're used to thinking, and you're not used to choosing to think a different way. And so when I say that we are partly responsible for treating ourselves so unkindly and saying unkind things to ourselves, one of the things that we frequently do is compare ourselves to others. It always, you know, grass is always greener, one of those cliches. You know, we're always thinking that other people have it easier, or other people have it better, or other people look better, or other people got better breaks. And before I even say that, in doing that, you are not taking into account the other variables of their life. So for example, just because someone looks like they've got it all together, that might not necessarily be true, but that's the only perception that we can have. You know, we have that two-dimensional perception of someone else's life, when you can never truly know what is going on in someone else's life, or what their story is, or what their situation is. Yet we choose to take that two-dimensional perspective and equate it to our own life. And that is just a complete miscalculation. You can't do that, because then you wind up having these expectations, these unrealistic expectations that can only lead to disappointment. And it will never work for us if we are perpetually looking to others to kind of value ourselves. And so when I say that we have control, we do. We need to stop comparing ourselves to other people and look at our own dimension and our own perspective and our own life, and ask ourselves, you know, what's going on in my life, so that, you know, where in my life can I improve things or change things or make my life easier? Not why isn't my life as easy as someone else's? But if you constantly do compare yourself to others, it's going to, the weight of that is going to feel tremendous. And then it triggers immediately that kind of negative self-talk soundtrack that I was talking about, because you can't help it. If you're thinking that everybody's looking better, being better, more successful, having it better, then of course you're going to feel less than, because you have no concept of what the rest of the dimensions of that other person's or other people's lives are. And it's a very dangerous cycle to get ourselves into. We do it all the time. We are judgers. I go to the mall, sit in the food court, and I judge everybody who's walking by. I'm looking at your fashion, I'm looking at your handbags, I'm looking at your makeup, your hairstyle, your shoes, all of that. That's what we do. But if we use it as a measuring stick against our own value, that's where it becomes dangerous, and that's where it becomes a problem. And so now we've got the themes of society that are saying, you know, don't be too proud, don't be too boastful. And then we have it inside our own families where, you know, we're taught to be shy. And then now we have it from ourselves, where we're comparing ourselves to other people all the time. No wonder why we're defaulting and we habitually want to be so unkind to ourselves and say really negative things about ourselves and about our ability to accomplish things. I think one of the other places that negative soundtrack in our heads comes from is actually now other people. And by that I mean just kind of outside of people who raise us and mold us and shape us, but just generally speaking, other people. We allow other people's tear downs of ourselves to actually have an impact. When other people are mean to us or try to, like I said, try to tear us down, we give their statements oftentimes value. It's as if we feel like our own perspective is invalid, but only the objective external perspective of someone else is legitimate. And there are oftentimes too when someone says something to us that's mean or meant to, like I said, take us down. In the moment, sometimes you're like, whatever, no way. And then as time goes on, you allow those kind of automatic negative thoughts, like, because it does happen automatically or even just kind of unconsciously, it starts to nag at you and you start to go, well, maybe what they said about my butt in my pants, you know, maybe my butt is kind of big. Maybe maybe I'm not looking as good. You know what I mean? Like, you just start to, I have to say, by the way, ironically, that I just like randomly pulled out like the size of your butt because that is one of my insecurities. And if someone were to talk about the size of my butt, I have a very large disproportionate butt. And if someone were to call me out on it, even though I am proclaiming this drive that we should be nice to ourselves, I would totally hinge on that. So that was completely Freudian that I came up with that as an example. But anyway, unconsciously, without even thinking about it, we oftentimes allow those thoughts to kind of nag at us until they, you know, start off really small and then kind of develop into something that's really impactful and makes us really start to feel bad about ourselves. And so I love the quote that I've heard. I love quotes, by the way. I think I should start incorporating quotes. You guys like quotes? I live for really good quotes. I actually have 2 completely filled quote books. Like, I love quotes. Anyway, one of the quotes that I've heard in the past that I think is really, really true, and it really resonates with me, is that no one can make you feel bad about yourself without your permission. And so people on the outside can say, honestly, they can say whatever they like. And it's going back to what I was talking about originally. They don't know your story. They have no idea, you know, where you're coming from. They're making a judgment call and a judgment statement to you based on their 2-dimensional perspective. And then might I add also that oftentimes when people say things that aren't kind to us, it's because they have their own baggage. You know, they're either jealous about something or insecure about something or fearful about something. You know, I've talked about weight loss quite frequently because it was a major portion of my life. And when people start making negative comments to you about your weight or your weight loss, it's usually because they're unhappy with their own weight and they're projecting it onto you. Did you ever try to like lose weight and you're trying to watch what you eat and you've got like people try to push food on you? Like, oh no, you can just have this. Why? You don't need to lose any weight. That's because they want you to eat what you don't want because it'll make them feel better about eating the thing that they actually want. Do you see what I mean? So oftentimes people project their own internal baggage onto someone else. And that reason alone, we should not allow those statements or those thoughts to impact us, because ultimately at the end of the day, they really have nothing to do with us. And so there's kind of this game going on, this kind of battle where we're trying to negotiate society and family and our own automatic behaviors where we default to the negative instead of the positive, and then also the variable of other people. There's a lot of things, a lot of chess pieces that we're trying to negotiate. And I ultimately say, you know, again, no wonder why we are so unkind to ourselves and allow kind of all of those influencing factors to kind of weigh us down. And so here's the deal. I firmly believe that every behavior we do is a choice. That was also a quote, which I live for. Every behavior we do and every thought that we have for ourselves is a choice. We do have the power and the ability and the capability to turn off that negative soundtrack and start saying the good things to ourselves and the nice things to ourselves. But here's the deal. It won't happen automatically. We've been trained so much the other way that you actually have to be literally like kind of present in the moment and fight it on your own. You have to make the conscious decision to say, oh, I was just being mean to myself and I'm not going to do that anymore. And what's really key at that point is when you've got that kind of negative, when you notice that negative self-talk is there, you stop it, you call it out, and then you say something nice. I promise you, the more times that you say nice things to yourself, the better you're going to feel about it. There was a study or an experiment done where if you're in a bad mood, but you literally smile, you will actually literally feel better. That's because the muscles in your mouth, when you smile, you actually release some happy hormones in your brain. So even if you're not feeling smiley at that minute, if you actually smile, you will begin improving your mood. And I think the same is true of the thoughts and the things that we say to ourselves. If you, even in the beginning, if you have to lie to yourself, if you have to lie to yourself and say something nice to yourself, if you say it enough times, you will actually start to believe it. And that is what is so cool. It is within our ability to completely rewrite the story, which is what I love. And so if you are interested in trying to change that kind of negative soundtrack that you might have running through your head, and like I said, despite this entire conversation that I have just had with you, I am guilty of it 110%. I default to the negative all the time, but I am constantly doing my best, and I don't always win, but I am constantly doing my best to undo that comment, to undo that statement. Something that I had kind of come up with over time, because like I said, this is something that I'm pretty passionate about, and I was thinking, I'm like, this can't be the only way. It can't only be possible that we are mean to ourselves all the time, because there's shit that I need to accomplish, and I'm not going to get anything done if I keep telling myself that I can't do it. And so something that I had come up with, give it a try. And actually, if you do give it a try, definitely get back to me and let me know how it goes. Every time you see yourself in the mirror, you give yourself a compliment. Whether it's first thing in the morning and you're brushing your teeth, or you're walking past the store window and you check yourself out in the reflection, every time you see yourself, just say something nice to yourself. It is amazing how that little gesture and that little behavior has the ability to impact you on such a greater level. And so if you're looking for ways to change the way that you talk to yourself, because you're so much better than that, and you deserve to accomplish great things in this very one single lifetime that we have, and you shouldn't be your own worst enemy. Another cliche, hello. You shouldn't be your own worst enemy. We owe it to ourselves to do what we can to be the best we can and accomplish as much as we can and feel the absolute best that we can. And even if you are finished with your makeup every day, because this is obviously a beauty channel as well, I love the power of makeup. The power of makeup is just incredible. The way you can see, you see on the TV, the talk shows, you see when they go through like the beauty makeover, just how genuinely, well, oftentimes surprised, but just how genuinely happy people feel about themselves when they see the big reveal in the mirror, and they've got their hair redone, and they've got their makeup done, and they've been given a really nice outfit. There is nothing wrong with liking the way that you look. And so even if every day when you're done with your makeup in the mirror, before you get up, you give yourself a compliment. Like, for example, what's up, Foxy? Be silly with it. Be fun with it. Make yourself laugh. What's up, hot stuff? Have a good day, smoky lady. I mean, right? Okay. So I need you, or I'm asking you to, give it a shot. Even if, like I said, even if at the beginning of the day you finish your makeup, you're looking at yourself in the mirror, say something nice to yourself. And then, I don't know, I wish you the absolute best in accomplishing really fabulous things and feeling the absolute best about yourself. And that is why I chose the profession that I complained about recently that doesn't pay me very much. But I didn't choose my profession, which, like I said, I'm a social worker, and I believe strongly in making people feel better about themselves and improving their life. And I clearly did not choose the profession for the salary, but I absolutely enjoy discovering and learning about the ways and the means that we have of, like I said, feeling better and doing really good things. So please tell me your thoughts. Is this something that you struggle with? Or had you struggled with it before and you have found a way to break free of that baggage that kind of that can hold you back, where you're, you know, being negative to yourself and just kind of holding your own self back or allowing others to hold you back. What are your thoughts on this topic? I'm really, really curious, and your stories and your comments mean a lot to me, because I just love learning about other people and kind of how you do things and how you deal with things and what's your perspective. And so that's what I got for you today. I am approaching my job. Interestingly enough, I don't know, like, well, I was gonna say the sun is shining on me today, but that's actually not true. It's really cloudy right now. But I mentioned at the beginning that I was ridiculously late today, and I have not hit, knock on wood, a whip of traffic this morning, which is so unusual for this time of year. So I am gonna say that it is because I deserved a break today, which sounds so weird to say, because I'm like, why do I deserve? See, I can't even do it myself. Why do I deserve a break? Do I deserve a break? I'm sure there are other people who are better than me and deserve a break. See, I fall into it too. But I think that I deserved a break today, and for whatever reason, the gods or the world or the whatever it is, the angels, whoever you want to say, the saints, whoever, someone's smiling at me today and has given me the benefit of not being so stressed on my way to work. And so thank you for indulging me in this conversation, everyone. I've loved it. I hope you did. Welcome to my channel if you're new, and also, of course, welcome back. All right, I'm gonna get to work, and I hope you guys have a great day as well. Thanks.